welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Greg and, okay, I promise he will be back next week, but Thomas is out, so I will be running this week's episode. And this week we have Shareef Snuggs, who is a Medicare For All advocate. He helped organize the Medicare For All March, and we are so excited to have him on, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so our guest is Shareef Snuggs. Like I said before, he is a Medicare For All advocate. Where are you located again?
New York City.
NYC. We love it. And yeah, so you even helped organize the National Medicare For All March that happened in, was it July?
Mm-hmm. Yes, July.
Yeah.
July 24th.
Yeah. And so I just want to ask my first question. What made you become such a big advocate for Medicare For All?
Honestly, oddly enough, it was COVID. And I felt how government responded to COVID. Prior to COVID-19, I had no interest in becoming a healthcare activist. I have a background in film. I'm an artist. And, I'm also a waiter at a bougie movie theater. So I had no interest in becoming an activist at all. When Bernie Sanders said, no, it wasn't time for Medicare For All, that was a red flag for me. I always tell that same story because it was really eye-opening for me. It was heart-wrenching to hear that from him, to be honest with you, and to see our country just drop the ball. Even today, I feel like there's no stronger advocate in the healthcare movement. I don't see anyone sounding the alarm. We have a huge gross problem in this country. 68,000 plus Americans die every year because of not having any health insurance. And, and I knew that before, but when COVID came, it was like, okay, this is the time. This must be it. This is going to be the time that every healthcare activist was dreaming for, and I felt Bernie was going to jump in and say, okay, I was right. Here we go. And nothing happened. So I was like, yeah, let me sit back during the summer. I just watch a lot of YouTube podcasters and follow people on Twitter and, just, hope and see that maybe someone was going to break some news. And, nothing happened. And when Forced to Vote happened, I was like, okay, well, maybe this is the play that Bernie was doing, because you always hear all the time with politicians. There's always some backroom deals or working out and negotiating. You always hear it all the time. So maybe this is what Bernie was saying. So let me give him the benefit of the doubt. Let me not poo-poo him on yet. And then, first of all, was a bust. And I was like, okay, well, now I need to get involved, because I wasn't interested. And even then I wasn't interested. I was reaching out to other activists and other organizers and other organizations, asking them, okay, what are we going to do about this crisis? What are we going to do about COVID? How are we going to move this issue? And everyone, in my opinion, was moving a little too slow for me. And I still feel a lot of activists and organizers, and again, I'm not poo-pooing on them, I feel they move a little too slow for me. And because this is a really serious pandemic that's never going to go away. We have new variants popping up, so we need to move on that ASAP. And so, that for me, with all the information I'm telling you, really got me involved, because I feel like no one's going to do it.
And that's what really pisses me off as someone who also supports Medicare For All and single payer, is because we can do it. If we can have free testing and free vaccinations, and if we can just give people $1,800, then we can give people health care. We can do it.
Right.
It's just people in our government who just choose not to. And you're right. It should have taken the pandemic to get our asses together and get Medicare For All done, because you mentioned 68,000 Americans are dying every year prior to COVID.
Right.
We have another 700,000 dying.
Yep.
So it's like they really don't care. And what really pisses me off is people like AOC and the squad who ran on Medicare For All and all of a sudden stopped talking about it.
Right. Right.
So before we get into that discussion, I want to share a clip to the audience to debunk some myths on how expensive Medicare for All is, etc. So I will go ahead and do that.
If you believe the Washington, D.C. Beltway pundits, taxes are the only healthcare issue voters care about.
To pay for Sanders' plan, you would have to double both the federal income and the federal corporate tax.
If the savings from health care is really more than what you're going to pay more in taxes, then it makes economic sense. But all they're saying is you're going to pay some more in taxes.
What? That's the question Senator Sanders often gets in debates.
Will taxes go up for the middle class in a Sanders administration?
So yes, when we eliminate insurance company premiums and the money people must spend out of our own pockets to access healthcare, we replace those payments with taxes.
Most of which come from the wealthy. No premiums, no deductibles, no copays.
No need to buy Part B or Part D or Medigap plans. All the benefits for seniors of Medicare Advantage plans without the additional costs and restricted networks of providers. So do the math.
$20,000 a year now to pay the middleman insurance company who just moves paper and denies care?
Or $5,000 a year for Medicare for All, for families to be fully covered at no extra charge.
Aha, you say, but will an individual family's taxes go up?
That question is about a family's financial situation. What do they earn? What deductions do they take? If they get income from investments, they get a much better deal.
A lot goes into whether your taxes go up. To fund Medicare for All, people would pay taxes based on their income and pay far less than they are now paying for healthcare.
The new bottom line in healthcare? Here's a hint. It's not insurance company stock prices. Much lower cost per person.
No surprise medical bills because there are no medical bills to pay.
No deductibles, no copays, no insurance premiums.
Healthcare for all ages.
Longer life expectancies.
Over 30 countries similar to the United States have healthcare for all.
That's what Senator Sanders means by Medicare for All.
Yep.
Oh, those were the days.
Those were the days. Seriously. You're looking at someone who actually like caucused for Bernie in New York too.
Yeah, I know. Before the pandemic hit, we were even able to open up an office, a campaign office here in Pomona. So it was nice, but those were the days. But so let's go back on our discussion. So why do you think politicians like Bernie Sanders and AOC, who have advocated on Medicare for All, are slowing the pace when it comes to actual progress?
Well, I think there's three reasons why a lot of politicians don't. Number one, politicians run on left-wing issues because they know it gets them elected. That's full stop. So whether their heart is in the right place when they first started, or whether they was co-opted from the beginning, they just looked at it as an opportunity for them to make money as a politician. Politicians know that all they need to do is sell us platitudes and we will vote for them. The left has no, we have no standards. We just don't. And that's going to be mean. People are going to make mean and being rude. Just look at every example. We voted for Obama, look what happened. We voted for Bernie, look what happened. We voted for AOC, look what happened. Look how many progressives we voted for, and we still got nothing, right? I always ask people, what does your vote get you? So the first problem is that politicians know all they need to do is run on any left-wing issue, not just Medicare for All, anyone, pick one, they will get elected. All they gotta do is say they gotta say the right words and they will get elected. The second issue why a lot of politicians run on issues and then when they get into office don't, is simply due to the fact that they don't have they just don't have the balls to tell the other politicians no. The ones who are, let's say, good, quote unquote, good faith actors, right? The ones who do want to come in and make changes, they see how bad the system is and they fall in line, whether they're not doing the right thing, wrong thing themselves. Because I do think a lot of politicians like Bernie Sanders have their heart in the right place. They know that they're fighting an uphill battle and they're going to lose. And so they don't want to rock the boat. They want to look like they're team players. You know, they're not doing their job of fighting for Medicare for All, but also doing that same thing either. So it still looks bad. And so they're in a fish tank. We're not surrounded by sharks, and so there's not much they really can do.
You made a good point, and sorry I'm cutting you off, but it's just
no, it's fine.
I don't understand is that, I mean, I get why AOC isn't like doing it because she ran as a Democrat, yada yada yada. But Bernie's an independent. He doesn't have to listen to the Democratic establishment. He doesn't.
He don't.
And like,
but it's the same problem though. They run into the same problem. They run into the same problem. And people like AOC, they don't need to take corporate money. A lot of people say, well, AOC doesn't need corporate money. Well, she doesn't have to. Her brand is strong, right? She sells her T-shirts, she sells her hat, she sells her sweater. She's an actress. You know, she's on Forbes magazine. So how many politicians are on Forbes magazine, right? So she doesn't need to take corporate money because her brand by herself already makes money on top of her salary as a politician. So the other politicians who don't have a brand, they need to take corporate money. So there's a big difference. AOC is more, she's an actor first, politician second. And so that's why she doesn't need to do it. And that's the third reason too, is why politicians don't run on their policy, is because the money is as simple as that. It's not hard to figure out. It's just whether they're taking corporate money or whether they're making their own money, just being quiet and just taking the salary and just giving the illusion of, you know, I'm with you, which a lot of these politicians just do. You know, that's as simple as that. I mean, again, I don't poo-poo all politicians, even though I don't believe in electoral solutions. But at the same time, if you're not speaking out, if you're not fighting for your constituents, it doesn't really matter if you're a good person. You are sitting by. Like, I make the same argument about cops, right? People say, well, not all cops are bad, but yes, but if you're not speaking out against injustice in the community, what difference does it make, right? You're allowing that to happen. And so it doesn't really matter if you're a good person. If you didn't pull the trigger yourself and shot an unarmed black person, you're still culpable. You're still a problem.
Yeah, I mean, who's worse, the bully or the bystander?
Right, exactly.
And when it comes to, you know, running on these issues, you gotta walk the walk and talk the talk, you know? So my next question for you is, okay, we have a lot of progressive candidates running for Congress this term. Like, we have a lot. What is your message for them? Because if, you know, we're going to just get more AOCs into office, then we're not going to get anything done.
My conversation would be to any person who's running for office, sign a contract with your community. Seriously. I personally feel that we shouldn't vote for any First of all, if it were up to me, no one would vote ever again until they actually get something for it. I would have create some type of rule or some type of regulation that anyone running for office, they would have to provide something to the community as a whole, as a qualification to be allowed to run for office. So in other words, for example, they themselves, they would have to be an activist or do something that they was able to prove why they should run. So what did you do for your community? What changes did you make? Did you help bring in universal pre-K? Did you clean up, you know, an oil spill in your backyard or something like that in your local community? What have you done that really show that you should be in for office? I'm not talking about you was a mayor, you was a senator, you have the experience. I don't care about that. That means shit to me. What have you actively done to change your country, to change your community? That should be number one. And you should also provide a contract, because at the end of the day, none of these politicians, when they get into office, need to hold their promise. And there's nothing holding liable either, right? So AOC can run for Medicare for All and not do it. She can sit in office for the next 30 years. Nothing's going to happen to her for the simple fact that what she ran on when she first got into office. Like, she will never be held held accountable for that. That doesn't really matter. So for me, any politician who is serious, number one, do something for your community, and B, sign a contract with your community.
You know, that is such a good idea because, you know, you have these people who run for office, they make all these campaign promises, and you're essentially making a promise to the people who are electing you. And when you don't follow through those promises, that should be, you know, why aren't there any consequences for that? You know, you have people giving you money, supporting you so you can get elected, and you're using that money, and then when you just basically lie, you know, it's like, this is a really nice shirt, here you go, $20, okay, great, and the shirt is shit.
Right.
You know,
we have a culture. It comes down to the fact that we live in a culture that says leave the politician alone. They're working hard. They're working on it. It's politics is muddy. It's confusing. It doesn't have to be. We're making it confusing. We're making politics difficult. We don't have to. It doesn't have to be. It's very simple. In other countries, and people get mad at me and says, "Why you always got to talk about other countries?" Because it's not complicated. That's why I'm talking about other countries, because we make things so difficult here. We don't have to be. Like other countries, they don't stand for that shit. They just don't. And in this country, we allow politicians to do whatever they want. And we don't hold the same standards to our community members we hold to politicians. We allow people to take advantage of us. We don't hold truth to power. And we just say that it's complicated, and they're working hard, and you don't have any proof of that. Like, I love people who defend AOC all the time. How do you know that? I always ask them that. Can you give me some, educate me? Because you said she's working hard, and we should be nice to her. Do you have any documentation or anything to prove that she's doing this? And they'll never have any proof. They never have any evidence. Wow. They never give it to me. Because I said, I want to be on your side, right? I always play devil advocate. Give me some information. If you think AOC is right, give me some information, and I will be an advocate for her. And then they don't have an answer. They don't give it to you.
Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and move towards a different direction. So we have the Supreme Court hearing, the latest laws that Mississippi was trying to pass, and it was basically banning abortion after 15 weeks. And I'm an advocate for abortion. Abortion is healthcare.
Right.
I'm wanting to get your thoughts on it, and what do you think? This outcome might come out. What do you think the outcome of the court will be?
Oh, it's gonna be. The court's gonna put in favor of the abortion law, and we're gonna hit the streets, because I really think that we're going backwards. This is really evident that we're a country going backwards. And they're furthering my point that we as a country just take anything that the government does to us. They're going to make this abortion ban legal, and so they're going to make it very difficult for women to get an abortion. And we're just going to have to
safe abortion, by the way, because all the rich whiteys will be getting their fucking abortions paid.
Absolutely.
Covered.
Absolutely.
This is clearly an attack on women of color and trans women who are.
This is a class issue.
Who has a fucking uterus.
No, absolutely. This is a huge class issue too, as well. Not just a race issue, but also a class issue. Because you can't separate the two. They have to be connected together, because it's 100% a class divide and a racial divide. We're gonna hit the streets, because I don't think that we're gonna win that. I think that's the issue that we need to be diligent about. Being community, this is 100%. I agree with you. This is a healthcare issue, and we need a lot of healthcare activists, and we need the women's movement, the women's march people. We need the nurses unions across the country. We need everyone to have eyeballs on this. I'm shocked that more people are not outraged, but I think when this law goes into effect, you're going to see people hit the streets 100%.
I mean, I better, because this is fucking serious. This is some Handmaid's Tale bullshit that's going on. Really,
no, absolutely.
It really is. Especially with that Amy Coleman, whatever her fucking name is.
Oh, she's a monster.
She is a handmaid. I'm sorry. Like, I would just call her that. No, it's really scary, because Roe v. Wade was in 1974.
Right.
1974.
Right.
A court in 1974 can say, hey, abortion is constitutional.
Right.
And then in 2021, nah, it's not. What the fuck is that? What kind of progress is that?
We're not making zero progress.
Yeah, and the older generations want to say, oh, we fought for you, we got you all this. Well, it's leaving right now. The train is leaving with all that progress.
Right. And funny enough, one of the activists in community with me was saying that we need to put eyeballs on the abortion argument. I totally agree with that, because a lot more of what we hold sacred in this country is going away. The DCEs that's going on right now too is also a problem, and no one knows about it. And we just, again, the biggest issue that we healthcare activists, and myself included, I'm also failing at this as well, is that we need to go outside of our comfort zone. We need to go outside of our bubble, and we need to be in community with folks that don't agree with us, and who don't know anything about these issues. And we need to be more active about door knocking, going and say, hey, did you know this is happening? Hey, just like knock on people's doors. I said, do you know they're taking away women's abortion rights? Do you know this is happening? Do you know that's happening? And flyering and old-fashioned cold calling and being in the street, and also going to people's doorstep and handing out flyers and talking about this, not electing people to office, but just bringing up issues that is a problem. And we need to go back to that. We just don't. How often that in our local neighborhood, we get people handing flyers about issues that we have in our community? I barely see it.
Yeah, I agree. That really should be happening. We shouldn't just be canvassing for politicians, but we should be canvassing for issues.
Yes.
I 100% agree on that. And the favorability when it comes to abortion is very favorable. The American public will want, support a woman's choice. And obviously no one wants abortion. I get,
right.
They support a woman's choice, or anyone with a fetus choice. Uterus, sorry. Brain fart. No, but anyone with a fetus should have that choice with their doctor.
Right.
That is a simple thing.
Right.
And people bring up late-term abortions or whatever. Okay, that person who's 8 months pregnant, who can no longer have that child, probably already got stuff for the kid.
But also to these people who say these pro-life people are hypocritical and they're full of shit to me. Because if you're pro-life, why aren't you not pro-Medicare for all?
Why aren't you anti-gun? Why aren't you pro-open borders? Why aren't you ready to feed the hungry? Right,
exactly. It's weird to me. I love one day to sit down with one of those people and to have them word salad, their explanation on that, because that to me doesn't make any logical sense. Why is that okay, but not world hunger? Why isn't pro-gun? Why is all the other issues also not important?
Yeah, or on the vaccine issue, my body, my choice.
Right.
But I've been saying for years.
Right. Seriously.
Only when it's convenient to you, I guess.
Right. Only when it's convenient.
Well, Shareef, thank you so much for joining me on this conversation. I follow you I followed you for a while now, and I always love what you have to say. And
thank you, Greg. And also too, I can't wait to be back too. I have so much fun doing the podcast.
Yes. So go ahead and shout out your Twitter and give the audience what you're currently working on right now.
All right. So you can find me on Twitter at I am4M4A. So it's I am for Medicare for All. You can find me on Twitter. Currently, right now, there is a holiday action that we're currently working on for the March for Medicare for All. It's called How the Grinch Stole Medicare. And so basically, it's an action like we always do. We always try to find ways to get the community to participate, to punch up for healthcare. So we're going to be tweeting stuff out about that. You can also go to March for Medicare For All website. You can also find, you can go to their Twitter at M4 number 4 M the number 4 all spelled out. Also on Twitter. And then other activists too are also going to also tweet up stuff about that as well. We have co-sponsors like the National Single Payer, Kentucky for single payer. Also, PNHP is also co-sponsoring for this action as well. So currently right now we have the Kentucky involved in this. They're doing the action there. Also in San Francisco, Burbank, and we also going to have one in New York. Although there's this a holiday action to punch up, to let our politicians, to let the big pharma know that it's not going away, even during the holiday. We're all going to punch up all the time.
Hell yeah.
We're going to have the action in January as well, so we're going to keep going.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
that's just great. And all that information is going to be in the description below. So please follow.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining us on a great conversation. We will see you next Monday. Ta-ta.
All right. Bye, guys.